Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, always Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you guys had an amazing Monday. It is Tuesday, but every day in the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, it's a Friday up in here. So we're going to party it up. We're going to hang out. We're going to, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite drink, your beverage, or whatever, how you like to call it. Sit down, sit back and relax and watch the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. This is our wrestling fandom show. This is my show just as much as it is your guys's. So remember to hit up the chat box if you guys want to just, talk about wrestling. Tell me how you feel. Tell me, projected storylines. Tell me certain superstars. We're going to get into Monday Night Raw first. So get prepared. Get prepared to talk about Monday Night Raw. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today lined up. Our first segment, we will dive into Monday Night Raw. Segment 2, we will get into WWE NXT preview. And then third segment, I'm going to explain why exactly did it take, or why did it have to take, and why was it necessary for the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes to win 2 Royal Rumbles to dethrone Roman Reigns? Segment 4, we're going to get into New Japan Professional Wrestling Dominion, which aired June 11th, I believe it was. And our fifth segment every Tuesday, we go through today in wrestling history. So let's go ahead and dig on into that. But before we move on any further, I want to remind you guys that we get a number of questions from viewers like you that come in during the show. So don't be shy. Hit up the tips and donations link, and just send me a chat. Just put your chat up on top so I can see it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like about the podcast. The best thing that I honestly love about being associated with media is I can handle criticism. I like criticism. I bring forth feedback as a gift. I only want to get better, especially in my young career as a sports broadcaster. In this case, professional wrestling. So yeah, don't be afraid to hit up the donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. This put your questions. Like I said, it really does help the show, guys. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a little bit of peace, love, and positivity all the time, all day, every day. And remember, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. So let's dig on into our first segment here. We're going to talk about our WWE Monday Night Raw review. So first and foremost, you kind of see Bron Breakker coming into the arena right off the bat. I kind of like that. I kind of liked how they were setting up kind of like the future. You saw Ilya Dragunov, of course, they feuded in the past. I believe Ilya was the one to dethrone Bron Breakker for his championship. Don't quote me on that. And send him to the Wolf Dogs where he teamed with Baron Corbin. But I thought it was ultimately great. I know that recently WWE wants to restructure kind of like the character of Bron Breakker, which is the right thing to do because right now I feel like, squash matches, backstage attacks isn't really his style. But, of course, starting off, I know a lot of people who watched Raw understand where I'm coming from. They're like, well, Eric, just wait, and that's exactly what happened. But we're gonna get into that a little later. The show started off with Drew McIntyre makes an appearance and absolutely makes a Judgment Day reference right off the bat. He's fighting Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland, Saturday. If you're on the Pacific time like I am, like that's like 10 in the morning, man. That's crazy. It's forbidden to open up a cold alcoholic beverage at 10 in the morning on the Pacific, coast. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe a nice cup of coffee will do it. Maybe some water. Maybe a nice cup of OJ can, you know, because mostly like people like watching sports, they like to grab their favorite, beverage and stuff like that. But that right now is not the case, unless you're into that kind of thing. Which is cool, which means you can be my friend. I'm just kidding. No, moving on. So we had immediately he was met in the ring with Damian Priest, where he showed up. Every single time Damian Priest's name is mentioned by Drew McIntyre, he always pops up. It's crazy. He wants to be that fighting champion. Absolutely respect that. And he said something that kind of rubbed the Judgment Day the wrong way. You could see it in JD McDonough's face, also Finn Balor's. He said, I don't need the Judgment Day to win the title. I never needed them. I'm a champ because I'm Damian Priest, which kind of got me that thinking, that these guys want to fight one-on-one. These guys obviously want to fight one-on-one. My, selfish attitude error, self wanted a steel cage match, maybe a Hell in a Cell, but that didn't happen. So ultimately, there was a proposition made that the Judgment Day would be barred from Clash at the Castle if and only if Drew McIntyre defeated Finn Balor on the main event of Monday Night Raw. But we will find out, more, heading into that as well. Of course, Liv Morgan, once again, the WWE World Women's Champion, also paying dividends within the Judgment Day kind of, self-battle that Dominik Mysterio is kind of going through right now. She dropped off her hotel room key to Dominik Mysterio, and, she said, why are you with someone who's calling you mommy? Like, why don't you let somebody call you daddy? This is like, it was just so crazy. It was just like, absolutely, like, it was kind of like one of those, like, jaw to the ground kind of moments there. Professional wrestling, especially the WWE, has always been been profounded on, PG, being kind of being a product that's suitable for children. So now you kind of have them kind of diving into the PG-13 kind of area, which is professional wrestling. So if you're like a professional wrestling fan, you're like, oh, I can't show my kids this. Like, that by all means, that's absolutely 110% your decision. But WWE recently signed, their television rights over to Netflix. I'm not sure how, on board Netflix is going to be with the PG, kind of era of the WWE that it's been going through. So maybe a little PG-13 here and there, does a body good. In terms of television ratings, obviously you had The Rock, one of the leaders of the Attitude Era. One of the leaders of the Attitude Era. He's one of the main. He's a chairman within TKO Holdings, which recently merged with WWE. So now that's UFC. If anybody doesn't know that. So now you kind of have this product, and you have Triple H, Paul Levesque, the creative officer of WWE, and you also have the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, in charge of the creative. He's the creative officer in WWE NXT. So now you kind of have these three guys. You have these three guys that's kind of saw, how the company was up, how the company was down, how they fought the Monday Night Wars against WCW. You kind of saw like them kind of, you kind of saw WWE plummet between like I would say like 2008, the end of 2018 to the beginning of 2020. Obviously the pandemic did happen and it hit WWE pretty hard. But I don't know, it's kind of crazy how how they're kind of letting this storyline slide, because I'm not a huge big romance, storyline kind of guy in terms of WWE. I think it's kind of, it can either be really, really good or it can be really, really bad. Most cases, it is bad. Of course, you have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon who made it, kind of cool. You also have Eddie Guerrero in China, Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio. I feel like it was not really that romantic as opposed to the way that they're kind of handling it with Liv Morgan. Handing, the mounting him outside of the ring, playing with his hair, kissing him, also giving him her hotel room key. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. But something that I kind of picked up from Monday Night Raw tonight is that the Judgment Day is the main attraction on WWE Monday Night Raw, which kind of makes sense. Every single time they had a break in Monday Night Raw, I felt like they were trying to find some way to kind of relate it to the Judgment Day, which is the reason why, you've seen in the Uncle Howdy QR code, with Bo Dallas, the date is June 17th, I believe it said, which is going to be on Monday Night Raw. So, you're going to have Uncle Howdy come out. It's going to be a Raw stable. It's going to kind of create like a little bit of a nuance within WWE, which is great, because right now you have so many injured superstars. It's absolutely crazy. CM Punk is going to come back eventually. Recently, who's that girl? Oh, God. Selena Vega got, she was confirmed that she, got approved by WWE medical facilities that she's ready to go back into the ring, which is pretty awesome. But for the men's, for the title runs and stuff like that, like I kind of feel bad for Damian Priest. Like I am still, still haven't really bought into the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Not just yet, but It's crazy. It's crazy. So you kind of put the strap on Damian Priest. You had CM Punk go out. You had Seth Rollins go out. You had Bobby Lashley go out, and so many. It does pay dividends, and it does tell a story, especially within the injury like kind of categories and stuff like that. Moving on. So Io Sky took on Lyra Valkyria. I was kind of upset because this wasn't a number one contenders match for Liv Morgan's title heading toward Clash at the Castle, which makes me think that there's going to be a way that Liv Morgan will probably kind of find a way to screw over Drew McIntyre. Maybe CM Punk might, kind of put his nose in the business of Drew McIntyre once again. But I don't really see Damian Priest defeating Drew McIntyre very cleanly. I like Drew McIntyre. He had a promo with Sheamus in the back where I just like Drew McIntyre. I kind of miss him as a face already. I honestly do. He was a great champion. I know he was a champion during the pandemic, but I think WWE should give it a second gander because it was money. It was money. It was absolute gold. It was very profiteer, definitely. Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria Sky, gets the win, which was kind of shocking because Lyra Valkyria's just been so hot lately. And then Lyra Valkyria was attacked by Damage Control. Carter and Katana Chance came out to rescue her. The thing that I kind of got, and the thing that I thought was actually pretty cool about this whole, Liv Morgan room key thing is you saw Finn Balor steal the key, like he slid it under, and he also had Carlito be like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like I just thought it was absolutely pretty. And the car, and it's this storyline is going to be I feel like it's so fragile. I feel like it's so fragile. On one hand it could be great, but if some promo goes bad or just like even if one of the wrestlers look at the camera like in a weird goofy way, this can absolutely blow up in WWE's face. But so far it's been decent. It's been decent. It's been passable. Once again, last podcast I mentioned how Ludwig Kaiser defeating Sheamus ultimately would put him in the WWE Money in the Bank, kind of picture, which, he declared he was going to be in the Money in the Bank as well. He's been doing really good. Ludwig Kaiser, he's not just Gunther's, right hand man. He's not just Gunther's attack dog. He's not just Gunther's, now ring announcer. But Ludwig Kaiser, I feel like he's finally getting to push in WWE that he desperately needed. He should have been an Intercontinental Champion, I feel like maybe like a year and a half ago. But, baby steps. Obviously, back then it was still under the Vince McMahon era. Obviously, you have a new creative officer, Triple H, Paul Levesque, that's going to get these superstars the best, um, you know, mostly out of their career that they're kind of hoping for. So, we had that, we definitely had that to look forward to as well. Next, you saw the OWO teaming up with Braun Strowman to fight against the Judgment Day. The WWE did a pretty good job of keeping Dominik Mysterio out of harm. I noticed even though he did have the wrap around his elbow, he needed Tommy John surgery. I thought they did really, really good in terms of that. And, that's when Liv Morgan came out into the ring, and that whole like thing, kind of mishap, kind of happened and stuff like that. And then you also saw Braun Strowman. Once again, he came in, Dragon Lee got the pin. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was a decent 3-on-3 match. I thought perhaps it could have been a little bit better, but once again, I don't know. I just feel like Braun Strowman's being underutilized. I wouldn't know why they brought him to WWE without including him into that Uncle Howdy, kind of storyline and stuff like that. And yeah, it was kind of crazy. Next, we saw Sami Zayn against Otis. It was a different version of Otis, claimed by the Alpha Academy leader Chad Gable. Once again, Otis loses the match thanks to Chad Gable, and it's kind of crazy because if Chad Gable would have never interfered with any of his matches, I feel like Otis would be like 4-0 by now. And it's kind of crazy because he mentioned in the back when he was with Sami Zayn, he was like, honestly, Sammy, Chad has kind of been there for me, kind of, I think, who was it? I think it was Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee said it the best, where it's like, I think it was Stockholm Syndrome or something like that, where you kind of fall in love with the person that's like berating you and like that's beating you down and stuff like that. So, like, Otis is definitely in this abusive relationship with Chad Gable, where Chad Gable is abusing him psychologically, mentally, and, sometimes physically. He slaps him in the face. But this is going to blow up. I feel like they are trying to build up this uh, Chad Gable against Otis. Once again, a Clash at the Castle. I don't really see Chad Gable dropping. Well, I don't really see Sami Zayn dropping the belt to Chad Gable, but it would really up the ante to kind of put over Otis's career if he wins that Intercontinental Championship match. Because he, once again, he told Chad, he said it to Sami. He was like, "Look, Sami, I was kind of like a reject after Heavy Machinery kind of backed out, talking about his tag team partner Tucker, which WWE broke up, which was stupid." He said, "I lost my Money in the Bank briefcase to The Miz." I feel like once again, the Otis kind of won by accident. I know, it kind of fell. I think it was AJ Styles, and I forget out who the other guy was fighting for it. And then it fell in his hand. I think it was Daniel Bryan. Could have been Daniel Bryan. And it fell into Otis's hands, and he was the Money in the Bank winner. And he also brought up his peach, Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose, it's kind of crazy how she kind of left the WWE. But that's for another, topic, outside of the PG area, Just kidding. Moving on. So we saw AOP take on the Awesome Truth. This match was kind of a little, kind of like just a little, not like, I don't want to say a little taste, because I felt like this match was, I would give it probably like a C plus, because you knew there was going to be interference. You knew that these guys couldn't take on the Authors of Pain alone. The Miz and Awesome Truth, Ronda Truth Killings, like he was able to win. They were able to win. They were able to keep this, tag team title reign going. And, kind of like what Karrion Kross wants to establish. The New Day came out and, helped them out, because the Awesome Truth was ultimately like kind of they were kind of outnumbered and stuff like that. And of course, you had Karrion Kross and you had Starlet and stuff like that. So I don't know if WWE is heading for a New Day breakup. Kofi Kingston, he's had singles, success when Xavier Woods and of course, Big E injured. But I don't think Xavier Woods has really established himself as a single superstar besides being King Woods, which I feel like is right. I don't want to see this tag team breakup, because it's been so long and they've been so damn, marketable. They've been so damn successful. They hosted WrestleMania, for God's sakes. I don't see a profit coming from, breaking up Xavier Woods and, Kofi Kingston. And I got a chat once again from my man, Little Fettuccine 68. Priest and Drew is the best thing in WWE right now. And to be honest, you're right. I think that's 1,010%, correct. It was kind of unfortunate that CM Punk did get injured in the WWE Royal Rumble, but of course, it creates a whole butterfly effect that if CM Punk would have won the Royal Rumble, I feel like he would have went on to fight Seth Rollins for the title. And I'm not too sure if Damian Priest would have successfully cashed in his Money in the Bank. Maybe he would have tried to cash it, or WWE would have been like, we'll have him try to cash it on Rhodes, and he's going to lose. But I don't know. I just feel like right now, those are the two top superstars. The injuries once again plague Roman Reigns right now, kind of being on hiatus. You kind of have this Uncle Howdy, kind of thing lingering over. Damien, a kind of person that I would think would jump into the title picture would be Finn Balor. But right now, Finn Balor's with the Judgment Day, which I don't really, like 1,010%. But I agree, 1,010%. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre are going to tear down the house and clash at the castle. I see some way, somehow, that Damian Priest will ultimately win, defeat Drew McIntyre. But at SummerSlam, I feel like whoever fights whoever fights Damian Priest is probably going to, dethrone him in that kind of, quickly moving on, we had Bron Breakker against Ilya Dragunov. It was an amazing match. It was the best match of the evening. It was a hellacious battle. Bron Breakker got the win, and wanted to attack Ilya Dragunov once again. Then you saw Ricochet come out. Ricochet was driven through the windshield of a car. Samantha Irving, and Ricochet went off in an ambulance, and who only knows how WWE or why exactly did they kind of use this as Ricochet's last night within WWE. I don't know, but I kind of hope Ricochet does better for himself. I don't think WWE right now is the best spot for him. They give him the Speed Championship. Oh yeah, that's cool, but you only wrestle in matches that's under 3 minutes, and he could put on a hell of a match, and he's done so much to kind of prove that. Honestly, the reason why they have not put the United States Championship on him is because you had Logan Paul come out, the YouTube star. So you're like, oh, we got to keep him happy. And then you had Sami Zayn and the whole Chad Gable thing. And then you had Gunther and stuff like that. Like, it sucks that Ricochet, thanks to his hereditary and stuff like that, he is a small superstar. I get, obviously I know WWE can't be like, this guy's a heavyweight contender, which he could be, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can have, someone, they gave Rey Mysterio a title run. I don't know why they want to give one to Ricochet. So, yeah, we're rapidly running out of time for this first segment. Once again, Bron Breakker leaves Ricochet in an ambulance. McIntyre fights Finn Balor for the right to have the Judgment Day barred in this match at Clash of the Castle. Drew McIntyre wins. He won. Damian Priest came out, which absolutely did, kind of disturbed me. Not disturbed me, but it kind of like surprised me because I thought Damian Priest was all about like, oh, I want to win cleanly. I don't need the Judgment Day. And he came out and then he tried to interfere where he tried to throw Drew McIntyre's focus off, did not win. The Judgment Day is now barred from Clash at the Castle. So, that's something to look forward to. It's going to be a great match. Should be interesting to kind of see what kind of shenanigans happen there. So, guys, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump right on into our WWE NXT preview. Expect a lot of fallout from NXT Battleground. So, hey, do not go anywhere.